Wednesday, aka Hump Day. Welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Hope you're all well and you've enjoyed the first half of your week, and let's hope that the second half is as enjoyable. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. Let's get straight in with the price action analysis. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe and join me every day where you'll get me talking about Bitcoin for about 10 minutes. Let's do it. So, this move from top to bottom, I've done a Fibonacci retracement on like I've done quite a few times over the past couple of weeks, and you can see that depending on where Bitcoin closes ce soir, with 4 hours left to go before the closure, it is approaching the 618 yet again. Now, it has around the 618, it has suffered with resistance, and you can see, if you would like to trust me on this one, there is a support resistance line which, because price action is underneath, you would expect to be resistance until price gets back above, and then you would like to see it act as support. And the first few times that Bitcoin has bashed its brain up against it, it's failed and turned back down. It looks like it's trying to have another stab, and that level is coming in at 61,000. You can see it's hovering right around, well, no, I should qualify that. The 618 is 61,000. Remember, Fibonacci is subjective, depends where you put it on, but you can see that the support resistance line is a bit above there. It's actually 62,000, but it's quite close, right? It's quite close in Bitcoin terms. And much like in my previous videos, 62,000 is a very key level for Hugh. I nearly referred to Bitcoin as my son then. It's a bit of a Freudian slip. I don't know if it's Freudian. I need to look into Freud. I've been learning about ancient philosophy over the last, month or so. But Freud is not one that I've covered. Anyway, yes, I nearly said Hugo instead of Bitcoin. But of this move down, what would look great would be this, because then you would have a low, a higher low, and then clearly a higher high, getting back above the 62,000. Well, if you've got a higher low and a higher high, that is indeed an uptrend. So I think that would probably precipitate another move for Bitcoin back up to the mid-60s at the very least. And let's hope it does do that. And also does a perfect technical analysis move of breaking above 62,000, coming back, retesting it, and then moving back to the upside. Mwah! That would be a delightful move. I'm sure in reality it won't look anything like that, but you know, I quite like squiggling orange lines all over my lovely charts. And yeah, what would just blow that out of the water? Well, I mean, really, excuse me as I think on my feet, because none of this is rehearsed, and I also had a bit of an itchy nose then. I would expect, I nearly did it again, I nearly called Bitcoin Hugo again, sorry about that. I would expect Bitcoin to get support at 56,000 from this position. Therefore, if Bitcoin, somewhere between 56 and 57, right? Therefore, if Bitcoin does get rejected again, basically where it is now, or up to sort of 62,000, then there'd be nothing wrong with another swipe back down. So let's say that this happens. There would be nothing wrong with a swipe back down here, and indeed then turning up. And that's just consolidating sideways, of course. There'll be trends, but they'll be on the very low time frames, not the daily, which is what I'm on at the moment. And, you know, in the context of, yeah, I think in the context of this as a potential weekly and maybe even monthly low, this wick here, the longer that Bitcoin, if indeed it doesn't break out from where it is at the moment, the longer it goes sideways, I think the more likely it will break up rather than break it on down. But I don't really want it to go sideways consolidating between 56 and 61 because that's just boring. I would like it to make its mind up, and I would like it to make its mind up in the direction to higher prices. Of course, who wouldn't? Well, anyone who's shorting or looking to buy at a discount, of course. Now, just to check in on the momentum, and I realised I didn't have the MACD on the chart, so I paused the video there. So if you saw the MACD just pop up, then that's how that happened. So you can see that this is a daily time frame. Remember, it is gradually working its way back towards the zero line. Still quite far away, but it will remain with upside posture, as in green, for daily closures above 58.3. And depending on what happens in the next 4 hours, if things are round about where they are at the moment, Bitcoin is a fair way from that, above it. So clearly that's good. On the issue of momentum, I'm going to drop down to the 4 hour, and you can see that sideways consolidation in more detail, and you can see that again, depending on, this hasn't quite closed. This is the candle that you're seeing manifested in that uptick on the MACD, but it's not closed yet. It's got another 5 minutes. Now, I think it's quite likely on a 4 hour candle that with the last 5 minutes, it's unlikely to completely wipe out. And so that would make the MACD go green on the 4 hour, and it will continue rising as long as Bitcoin doesn't close 4 hour candles below 59.5. Now let's have a look on the chart to see where that little number is. Interestingly, it crosses below the zero line, 58.4, which is also where the price for which the daily MACD would start to turn back down. Remember, I use MACD as a measure of momentum. It is indeed a momentum indicator. It's also a trend indicator, but I just use it for momentum. Now, the bottom of the range, 56 or 57,000, right? That's on the 4 hour. On the daily, it does go down to about 56. So where is 59.4 on this 4 hour? I bet it's about the middle of the range, and yes, it is. So if I was to draw another line on, let's do a nice blue horizontal, for the 4 hour closures being there, and then halfway. Let's see if it's exactly halfway in between my two lines of randomness. So there's halfway, and oh wow, it is indeed. So it's sort of 59.4. So pretty much 59.5. It'll keep rising. The momentum on the 4 hour will keep rising, and that is the midpoint of this consolidation. So go Bitcoin. If indeed the 4 hour time frame breaks above this blue line, which remember is the top of the sort of short-term range on the daily time frame as well, that would be after let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, more or less 5 attempts at the same area, and a bit like, tapping on or hitting a wall with a sledgehammer, eventually that sledgehammer is going to go through. So I'm suspicious this could be the time. Also, because it's the middle of the week rather than a weekend, it kind of has a feeling of that there's a bit more potential in this move actually being meaningful rather than remaining within this consolidation range. Oof, well, there we are. That'll do. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and indeed if you have, give me a like and subscribe and come back tomorrow. I'll be doing another one. 10 minutes, hopefully of golden logic and useful information for you. Take care. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.